keep going, haven't we? I think it's
utterly unfair. It was utterly unfair. It was beautifully done, and we loved it. And you're going to keep going. I'm going to ignore the challenge and what it was. And you have 27 seconds to continue with staying happy, Kenneth, starting now.
Unhappiness is most of the time born of selfishness and the regard for one's own person. We should be continually thinking of others. How can I submerge my own trouble in the problem of some other person?
Derek, never you challenge your additional person. Yes, there was a hell of an hesitation as we said. So anyway, well tried. They enjoyed the little homily, I'm sure. So Derek got you that time. I agree with the challenge. Derek, you gain a point. You take over the subject, staying happy. 4 seconds left, starting now.
Mushrooming makes me more happy than anything else in the hill.
And Keltneyburn, why do you challenge? I know, what was it, mushrooms?
Mushrooming makes me more happy.
Oh, he was absolutely right, it was mushrooms.
Well, I couldn't understand a word.
So why do you challenge, Kenneth? Why do you challenge?
Oh, do you go?
Because you couldn't understand. I'm afraid you can't do that. You can't do that. Derek has a point, and there are 2 seconds left for staying happy, starting now.
When one goes out on the golf links to pick up...
So Derek was speaking, but only just then when the whistle went, and he's now crept into the lead at the end of that round. And Andre, your turn to begin. Witchcraft. Can you talk to us about witchcraft for 60 seconds? Starting now.
If you are a witch and you want something nasty to happen to people, you have to think up a little rhyme like May Ken and Clem refuse to speak, and Nicholas Parsons fall asleep, and Derek Nimmer.
Derek Nimmer is challenged by his Yes, but oh, it was so lovely, wasn't it? How did it go on? Did you got it all worked out or not?
Derek stammer, be infinite, and then I'll win this just a minute.
You see, she paused, Derek, because she was building to something. But anyway, it was a legitimate challenge, and you gain a point. 31 seconds left, Derek Nimmer, for witchcraft, starting now.
If you're indulging in witchcraft, you should form yourself rapidly into a coven. That means 13 people, 12 of whom are the group, the main body of the assembly.
Andre Meliucha. Hesitation. I agree, you get the subject back, and you have a point, of course. 21 seconds for witchcraft, Andre, starting now.
Vampires are a very important part of this particular subject. I was once a bride of Dracula, so I know quite a lot about it. You have to have a pair of fangs which are fitted onto your eye teeth, a coffin. You're particularly frightened of the cross.
Clement Freud, why do you challenge?
Of the cross. Yes, it's definitely there.
I've got the audience. Do you think she hesitated?
Oh, it's no good asking then.
Well, when it is so...
Dogs killing them all.
Well, when it is...
The sawdust pouring out well off that there. So you just put these dummies in, they prop them up in the back row.
No, I disagree. Andre has another point, and there are 4 seconds left for witchcraft, Andre, starting now.
If holy water is thrown in your face, your whole visage into...
Andre, Mary was speaking then when the whistle went, so she gains an extra point, and she's creeping up a little. Clement, will you begin the next round, please? Filibustering. Can you talk to us about filibustering? For just a minute, starting now.
Filibustering is a political maneuver whereby one man talks for so long that, having read the small print and being unable to be interrupted, he has the floor and speaks until such time as the close of whatever he is indulged in.
Andre Mary challenged.
Hesitation.
Hesitation, yes. So he was trying to filibuster there, but unsuccessfully. So Andre gains a point and takes over the subject. 42 seconds left, starting now.
This is something I believe that senators of the South...
Kenneth Williams got hesitation. Kenneth, you gain a point and take over the subject with filibustering. 37 seconds left, starting now.
One of the most famous occasions was in the 19th century in our own House of Commons, when the Prime Minister, who was called Disraeli...
Clement Freud challenged. Yes, there was a slight hesitation. He was searching for his name.
I wasn't searching for his name. What are you talking about? It's about what he said. Overcome by the exuberance of his own capacity. It's what Disraeli said. I knew exactly what I was going to say. Can't call that hesitation. She said an and you didn't even allow it. And you allowed this lot here, who are obviously dyslexic education. I've hardly got a word in on this programme anyway. I've hardly spoken. First 5 minutes. I'm not even on.
I'm so upset now, Kenneth. I don't know what to do. You've struck me. I'll ask the audience. He's had such an effect on me. I'm going to let you be the judge. I must say that I definitely thought there was a hesitation there. And I must say, I want it all together, because I definitely think there was a hesitation. But if you be the final judges, if you think there was a hesitation, will you cheer? If you don't think there was a hesitation, will you boo? And will you all do it together now? You don't think there was a hesitation? The boos came through the tears that he created in your eyes. Kenneth, on your side, you have another point, and you have 24 seconds left for filibustering, starting now.
One is reminded of that great liberal statesman Gladstone, when he said, I care as much for the spiritual welfare of the people on the slopes.
Derek Nimmo, why do you challenge?
We want to filibustering. It's vain speech.
Ah, but you might
Filibustering is to talk unnecessarily. Prolong your speech, prolong it.
Yes, no, but I don't
There
think
were several interruptions during it.
Yes, and I do
You
think
don't allow an interruption.
there were probably some political people of the time who said that when Gladstone was speaking that particular speech, he was what we now call filibustering. Have I made my point? Kenneth Williams has a point, and he has 10 seconds to continue with filibustering, starting now.
The thing to do is to make a point, and then so ornamented.
Derek Nimmo, why do challenge? Repetition of point. Yes, he has said point before. Derek Nimmo gains it, and he has 4 seconds to continue with filibustering, starting now.
From the French word filibuster, which means freebooter.
Clement Freud, why do you challenge?
Deviation.
It's a French word meaning freebooter. It was a boat that was sent out to fight as a freelance against other countries who weren't your own country's enemies.
Extremely interesting, Derek. You have another point and 2 seconds to continue with filibustering, starting now.
One of the most famous filibusters.
At the end of that round, Derek Nimmo has a very definite lead over everybody else. Kenneth Williams, will you begin the next round? In fact, it's your turn to begin the next round, and the subject is Nell Gwyn. Can you tell us something about the lovely lady in 60 seconds, starting now?
But when the dreadful thing of regicide occurred, and we had the Great Rebellion, the king came back, and of course was called...
Derek Nimmo, why did you chant?
Repetition, because if there'd been regicide, he couldn't have come back. He was dead.
I said we had the dreadful regicide, and then
the
the
king
Great
came back.
Rebellion. Then the Great
He was
Rebellion.
talking about regicide and
Long live the king. I mean,
and the king came back. No, I disagree with the challenge. Kenneth has a point, and there are 50 seconds left for Nell Gwyn, starting now.
Charles II, who was married to Catherine of Braganza, didn't seem to have seen very much of her, and she lived apart from the court. He took this mistress who was called Nell Gwyn, and sometimes Sweet Nell of Old Drury, comical actress, and she's old oranges. Anyway, she did bear him these 2 children. What Catherine of Braganza thought of all this, nobody seems to know.
repetition.
Yes,
Ah, but she's on the card.
No, but Catherine of Braganza's not on the card. Catherine of Braganza's not on the card.
She was on the cards for him. If it's on the cards, she should have.
If you'd said that as a challenge, I'd have given you a point for win, but all that happens is that Clement Freud gets a point, and he takes over the subject of Nell Gwyn with 23 seconds left, starting now.
One now thinks rather lovingly about characters like Nell Gwyn.
Kenny Williams, why do challenge?
It's deviation. We don't think lovingly about Nell Gwyn at all.
Why not? Why not, Kenneth? Why should you think lovingly?
Because she was a dirty person.
He's a...
He won't sleep with people, other men's wives, kids. It's a disgrace. Thoroughly immoral and disgraceful, and ushering a pleasure-loving reign such as would disgrace any country. Disgrace.
But even people who... Stop being so pompous in your decision, your opinions. even some people you think are rather immoral or you disapprove of, often in retrospect look back rather lovingly, you know. And I therefore disagree with what you said, agree with the fact that Clement Quaich has a point, he was speaking then, and he continues with Nell Gwyn, and there are 18 seconds left starting now.
And yet, if you think about life in the 17th century, with no personal hygiene, with no...
Kenneth, why do you challenge?
Deviation, life in the 17th century and no personal hygiene is nothing to do with the subject, which is Nell Gwyn.
Well, after what you just said, I was saying an awful lot to do with
Having kids by other people's husbands is nothing to do with personal hygiene.
Use the word.
It's been going over
They'd never have kids.
Why don't you shut up? He's the chairman.
Kenneth, why don't you shut up? I'm the chairman. No, I think, after what you said, that personal hygiene does come in this. You visited some right word you said about being a dirty person. That was your very first word.
I meant immoral, dear, not filthy.
Well, all right, you used the word dirty. Therefore, I disagree with your challenge. Clement Quaich has another point, and there are 12 seconds left for Nell Gwyn. Clement starting now.
Nell Gwyn, in a nutshell, was dirty.
Kenneth Gwyn, finally challenge.
Well, I mean, deviation, she could never have been inside a nutshell. Oh, let's get dirty.
This time, he gets the bonus point from it. But Clement Quaich keeps the subject as he wasn't actually deviating from the subject on the card, and he continues with 9 seconds left for Nell Gwyn starting now.
She was even improper outside such an encasement. She would not have brushed her teeth, seldom have changed her underwear.
Those two on that side of the stage got off Nell Gwyn before we got really into rather embarrassing waters. Well, at the end of that round, Clement Quaich was speaking when the whistle went, so he gets an extra point. It's very interesting now because Kenneth has crept up dramatically. He's in third place behind the joint leaders at the present moment.
Third place, big deal.
Right, Derek Nemmer, your turn to begin. Coup de grace. Can you talk about that subject before 60 seconds starting now?
Well, we're standing in the second half of the football, you see. We're just standing there, well, I don't know really. And he said, why? I can't see your head at all because all the stuff's growing up all around about you. Why don't you cut the grass? And I said, I will a few minutes. Actually, if you go to a bull ring in Spain, when the matador delivers his final blow, he has a special sword, the same extract with a double over the top of it, and as he pulls it into the bull's neck, it severs the
Clement Quaich, why do you challenge?
Repetition of bull.
Yes, that is perfectly right. I'm going to challenge before we got any further to the bull's neck. Clement, I agree with your challenge. You take over the subject. There are 34 seconds left for coup de grace starting now.
This was delivered upon the premises of Mrs. Hebblewhite, landlady of 82 Blackpool Road, Morecambe Bay, Lancashire, by a villainous tenant who set fire to a mattress in the basement. As a result, the fire engines were called out.
Kenneth Williams, why do you challenge? He said fire and fire engines.
Yes, and I said bull and bull ring. So, I mean,
Same thing.
No, a fire engine is...
So it's bull and
But that's right, because I thought fire engines are well, you're quite right, they're too far. That's right, because it's 2 words. Therefore, I agree, Kenneth, you gain a point. And there are 16 seconds left for a coup de grace starting now.
Well, roughly speaking, of course, it means the final.
Clement Quaich's challenge, why?
Deviation.
Why?
Roughly speaking.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep to a subject.
Yes, but he can speak roughly, without deviating from the subject, and he can keep going.
It's been
Very good, Chairman. You're very good, Chairman.
I'm always good about giving the point.
No, I would want your job. I really wouldn't. I find it difficult. I would find it difficult.
Anyway, Kenneth, you have another point, and you have 14 seconds left for a coup de grace starting now.
The blow, so to speak, which settles the entire controversy and results in the adversary being banked.
The Clement Quaich, why do you challenge?
Bad word.
Adversary. Yes.
Adversary, I say.
Yes. Well, it sounded slightly different. We knew what you were saying, and you were keeping going under very difficult circumstances.
Thank you. Thank you. You're very good, Chairman.
You know there aren't many seconds left. You know it's very neck and neck. So you have another point, 3 seconds left, Kenneth, for a coup de grace starting now.
And if you can so encapsulate your point.
Tell them something, because that is the end of the show. I got a note here which says, wind up at the end of this subject. tell you that I'm afraid that's all we have time for, and what, as Kenneth encapsulated his final point, he gave a very dramatic and sudden twist to the game. He was trailing in 4th place nearly all the way along, but now in 4th place, alas, is Andre Merry, and in 3rd place is Derek Nimmo, and in 1st place, joint equals, Kenneth jumped into the lead alongside Clement Freud, and those are our 2 winners this week, Kenneth and Clement. Won by 1 encapsulated point only. That is all we have time for. We do hope you've enjoyed this particular edition of Just a Minute, and from all of us here, goodbye.
Chairman of Just a Minute, Nicholas Puff. The program was devised by Ian Messenger and produced by Simon Brett. Just a Minute. And as the minute waltz fades away, here to tell you about it is our chairman, Nicholas Parson.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again to Just a Minute. And once again, I'm going to ask these 4 clever exponents of the game to try and talk for just 1 minute on some unlikely subject that I will give them without hesitation, without repetition, and without deviating from the subject. If one of the other 3 think he's guilty or she is guilty of doing this, they may challenge by pressing a buzzer which they have in their hand. If I agree with the challenge, they will gain a point and take over the subject. If I disagree with the challenge, whoever is speaking will gain a point and keep the subject and continue. That is the way we play, and that's the way we score. And let us begin the show this week with Andre Merry. Andre, the subject is avoiding income tax. That's got a reaction from the audience already. But can you talk to us about it, Andre, for 60 seconds, starting now?
This is something that people who don't pay as you earn, but are supposed to cough up after they have, are very good at doing. There are several ways. One is by appearing absolutely idiotic and moronic and writing to the Inland Revenue saying...
Clement Freud, why do you challenge?
Deviation.
Why?
Hesitation, I'm saying.
No, you said...
No, I meant hesitation. I stumbled over the word.
Hesitation, he stumbled over.
You stumbled over the word, and Andre has been away from us for a long time, and so I'm going to be very tough with you, Clement, because you said
yes, you're
repetition first.
A good decision.
What a sporting player you are, Clement. We love having you around. I'm going to disagree with with the challenge because his first word was repetition, and Andre gains a point and keeps the subject. There are 42 seconds left, Andre, for avoiding income tax, starting now.
You begin the letter by saying, "Dear Commissioner, I'm terribly sorry I haven't yet paid, but I don't quite understand about those dependent relatives and other sources of income, and if you could just..."
Clement Freud, you challenge, why?
Income is what? It was repeated income that I see it on the...
It is one of the...
So she gets another point.
Yes. You are allowed to repeat.
Yes, of course. No,
I know you know that, but there might be somebody
No,
listening
you're
who doesn't.
absolutely right.
I haven't said it yet.
No.
There might be somebody listening who doesn't know that you are allowed to repeat the subject on the card more than once. And so Clement Freud was a bit too keen with his buzzer then, which means that Andre Miller gets another point and continues for 32 seconds, avoiding income tax, starting now.
A very good ploy is to say that you're very willing to pay, but not going to do it just now, and you go on avoiding the fatal day, if possible, until after you're dead. Then...
Derek Nimble, you challenge one stage. It was very doubtful. I think she was taking a breath. I don't think she quite hesitated. She was very close to it, so I disagree with the challenge. Andre gets another point, and there are 18 seconds left, Andre, for avoiding income tax, starting now.
when the requests get redder and redder, a very good idea.
Derek Nimmer, you challenged. Everybody challenged. Your buzzer came on first. So red and redder is repetition, and there are 16 seconds left, Derek. A point to you. You take over avoiding impacts, starting now.
I used to go along and see my commissioner in Glen Street in Liverpool with a great big paper bag full of bus tickets and old...
Clement Freud challenge, why?
Every case.
He's being too keen. He got in on something else and then he decided... I think he was actually anticipating the fact that Derek was going to say something else. No, he didn't hesitate, Clement, so Derek gets another one. No, he did not hesitate. And he keeps the subject with 10 seconds left for avoiding income tax, Derek, starting now.
I always put down on my income tax form that I have 7 wives, 48 children.
Andre Mary, why have you challenged?
A repetition of marriage.
Oh, very clever. All right, give her a... The audience obviously agree that you should have a point there for a clever challenge, but he's not, strictly speaking, deviating from the subject on the
A
card.
repetition.
No, it's too late now. You can't. You've got a point for being clever, but the subject stays with Derek. With 4 seconds left, avoiding income tax, starting now.
If you set up a company in the Cayman Islands, you will find this most advantageous.
Clement Freud, why have you challenged?
The Cayman Islands.
Why?
It must mean the Cayman Islands, and it was deviation from the norm of the word. There are no Cayman Islands.
That's right.
That's Cayman.
It's the Cayman Islands. You're quite right. Well done, Clement. So you gain a point for that. With 2 seconds left, Clement, avoiding income tax, starting now.
Ideally, you do this by not working.
Well, Clement Freud achieved then very cleverly what he often endeavours to do, and that is to get in just before the whistle goes. The whistle tells us that 60 seconds is up, and whoever is speaking at that particular moment gains an extra point. So, Clement, at the end of that round, Andre Melli has a commanding lead of 2 over everybody else. Clement Freud, will you begin the next round? Things that come through the post. Can you talk to us about that for 60 seconds, starting now?
Now, if ever this should happen to you, I want you to write immediately to the Postmaster General, because it is absolutely illegal to send things through the post, especially when they come. This is entirely against the public interest. It is disgusting, it's wrong, and if you do...
Kenneth Williams, why have you challenged?
She said it's illegal. She said it's illegal to send you. I suppose it's not.
It's not illegal to send things through the post in the way that he was putting it. It is not illegal, therefore it is devious, Clement. So Kenneth gains a point and he takes over the subject. What you were describing is not illegal. Therefore, Kenneth, I don't think it's possible, it's certainly not illegal. There are 37 seconds, Kenneth, for you. Things that come through the post starting now.
Well,